Hi everybody, and welcome to the show. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a music phenomenon, a group that took the world by storm with their dazzling talent and undeniable charm. We're talking about the one and only Jackson 5. Their music transcended generations, their dance moves captivated audiences worldwide, and their journey, well, it's a story that deserves to be told. From the humble streets of Gary, Indiana, to the dazzling lights of Hollywood, the Jackson 5's rise to fame is an inspiring tale of family, talent, and the power of believing in your dreams. Over the next few chapters, we'll uncover the stories behind their iconic songs, the challenges they faced on their path to stardom, and the legacy they left behind. We'll delve into their childhood, their struggles, their triumphs, and the unique blend of talent and charisma that made them global superstars. So sit back, relax, and get ready to groove as we take a trip down memory lane with the unforgettable Jackson 5. You'll learn things you never knew. I guarantee it. Get ready to be amazed. The Jackson 5 story begins in the heartland of America, in Gary, Indiana, a town known for its steel mills and its soulful spirit. It was here, in a modest two-bedroom house, that 5 young brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and little Michael, discovered the magic of music. Their father, Joe Jackson, a former musician himself, saw the spark of talent in his sons. He recognized their natural ability to harmonize, their innate sense of rhythm, and their undeniable stage presence. He knew, with the right guidance and discipline, they could become something truly special. Joe became their manager, their mentor, their driving force. He instilled in them a strong work ethic, pushing them to rehearse relentlessly, to perfect their harmonies, and to develop their own unique style. He envisioned a brighter future for his sons, a future far beyond the confines of their small town. Imagine just for a moment being a young, aspiring musician. You've poured your heart and soul into your craft, honed your skills, and dreamt of the day you could share your gift with the world. Now picture yourself standing on the hallowed stage of the Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York. The Apollo, known as the soul of American music, had witnessed the rise of countless legends: Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Ella Fitzgerald. Its stage was a proving ground, a crucible where raw talent was forged into stardom. And in 1967, a group of young brothers from Gary, Indiana, known as the Jackson 5, were about to step into the spotlight. They had won several local talent shows, but this was different. This was the Apollo. The energy, the history, the sheer magnitude of the moment, it was electrifying. The audience, known for their discerning ears and their brutally honest feedback, waited with anticipation. Now remember, these boys were still very young. Michael, the littlest one, with his cherubic face and giant afro, was just 9 years old. But when the music started, something magical happened. All traces of nervousness vanished, replaced by an undeniable stage presence and raw talent that captivated the entire audience. Michael, with his youthful energy and powerhouse vocals, was a revelation. He sang with a maturity and depth that belied his tender age. The brothers' harmonies were tight, their dance moves synchronized, their energy infectious. The crowd roared with approval, their cheers echoing through the theater. And that night, the Jackson 5 not only won the amateur night competition, they beat out another rising star, Stevie Wonder. This victory was a turning point, a pivotal moment that catapulted them from local sensations to national contenders. It was only a matter of time before the world would know their name. Now, in the world of show business, darlings, there's what really happens. And then there's the story they tell you. The glitz, the glamour, the carefully crafted tales that make everything seem like a fairy tale. And sometimes, those two things are miles apart. The reality is often hidden behind a curtain of illusion. That's how it was with the Jackson 5 and their Motown discovery story. The tale that was told was enchanting, but the truth was even more fascinating. Motown, they were geniuses at creating these narratives, these Cinderella stories that made you believe in the magic of it all. They knew how to spin a story that would captivate the audience. They did it with the Supremes, turning them into icons of the era. They did it with Smokey Robinson, whose smooth voice and charm won hearts everywhere. And they did it with the Jackson 5, creating a legend that would last for generations. They wanted you to believe that Diana Ross, the queen herself, had discovered these 5 talented brothers from Gary, Indiana. It was a story that added a touch of royalty to their rise. They splashed her picture on their albums, making it seem like she was their fairy godmother. They talked about it in interviews, weaving the tale into the fabric of their public image. They let the story take on a life of its own. And it worked. The public loved it, and it added to the mystique of the Jackson 5. It added this layer of sparkle, this fairy godmother element that made their rise to fame seem even more extraordinary. It was like a dream come true. But the truth, well, it was a little different. The real story was one of hard work, talent, and a bit of luck. The Jackson 5, they were making a name for themselves in the Midwest, playing clubs, honing their craft, even opening for big names like Etta James. They were already on their way, building a reputation. And it was during one of these gigs that they caught the eye of someone who would change their lives. A man named Bobby Taylor. A chance encounter that would alter their destiny. Bobby Taylor, he was a soul singer, a man with a keen sense for talent, had his own group, Bobby Taylor and the Vancouvers. They were already making waves in the music scene. They were signed to Motown already, part of the Motown family, and let me tell you, Bobby, he had an ear for talent. He could spot potential a mile away. He saw the Jackson 5, heard them sing, saw them move, and he just knew they were something special. It was an instinct, a gut feeling. And he just knew they were something special. He saw the spark that could ignite a fire. So Bobby, he took them under his wing. He saw their potential and wanted to nurture it. He became their mentor, their champion. He was their guide in the complex world of music. He believed in them, in their raw talent, and he was determined to help them succeed. And he was determined to get them in front of the right people. He knew they had what it took to make it big. He knew they needed a shot, a real chance to shine, and he was going to make sure they got it. And that's how it happened, honey. Bobby Taylor, not Diana Ross, was the one who brought the Jackson 5 to Motown. Bobby Taylor, he brought the Jackson 5 to Motown, not Diana Ross. He was the one who saw their potential and took action. He introduced them to the executives, made sure they were seen by the right people, got their foot in the door. He opened the path for their incredible journey. And the rest, as they say, is history. The Jackson 5 went on to become legends, and it all started with Bobby Taylor's belief in their talent. Now, before those Motown days, before the matching outfits and the hit records, the Jackson 5, they were just a local band with big dreams. They were a group of brothers from Gary, Indiana, who spent their days practicing in their living room, dreaming of the big stage. Their father, Joe Jackson, was their manager, pushing them to be the best they could be. And like so many young artists, they were hungry for their big break, for a chance to share their music with the world. They practiced tirelessly, perfecting their harmonies and dance moves, always striving to improve. They were playing talent shows, local clubs, anywhere that would have them. From school gyms to local fairs, they performed wherever they could, gaining experience and building a local following. They were honing their skills, finding their sound, and always believing that one day their moment would come. And then, it did. Their hard work and dedication paid off when they caught the attention of a local record label. In Gary, Indiana, there was a small label called Steeltown Records. It wasn't a major label, but it was a start, a stepping stone to something greater. Nothing fancy, mind you, but for the Jackson 5, it was a chance to finally record their music, to capture their energy on vinyl. It was an opportunity to show the world what they were capable of. They went into the studio, these young men, full of dreams and raw talent, and they poured their hearts into their music. They recorded with passion and determination, knowing this was their shot. And that's how Big Boy was born, their very first recording. It was a milestone, a tangible piece of their hard work and dreams. Now, Big Boy, it wasn't a chart topper. It wasn't a national sensation. It didn't make them stars overnight, but it was a start. But for the Jackson 5, it was everything. It was the first step on their journey to stardom, a sign that their dreams were within reach. It was validation. It was proof that their dreams were within reach. It was a moment of pride and accomplishment for the young band. It was a taste of what could be, a glimpse of the greatness that lay ahead. It gave them the confidence to keep pushing forward. The song, it showcased their youthful energy, their tight harmonies, Michael's incredible vocal abilities. Even at such a young age, Michael's talent was undeniable. Even then, you could hear it, that spark, that undeniable talent that would soon take the world by storm. It was clear that they were destined for greatness. And it's those early experiences, those small victories that shape you, that fuel your ambition. Each performance, each recording session brought them one step closer to their dreams. It's about believing in yourself, even when no one else does, and never ever giving up on your dreams. The Jackson 5 embodied this spirit, never losing sight of their goals. The Jackson 5, they held on to that belief, they kept pushing, kept striving, and eventually they found their way to Motown, to Berry Gordy, to the world stage. Their persistence and talent paid off in a big way, but they never forgot those early days, those humble beginnings that made them who they were. Those early experiences at Steeltown Records were the foundation of their incredible journey. Now, let's talk about the impact of the Jackson 5, because honey, it wasn't just their music. Oh no, they were everywhere. Their influence extended far beyond the radio waves and record stores. From lunchboxes to posters, these boys were a bona fide phenomenon. Their faces were on everything you could imagine. And in 1971, they reached a whole new level of fame. They became cartoon stars. This was a groundbreaking moment. ABC, they launched a Saturday morning cartoon called the Jackson 5 IV, and let me tell you, it was a hit. Kids couldn't get enough of it. Every week, kids all over America tuned in to see their favorite group come to life in animation. It was a magical experience for them. Now, the cartoon, it wasn't exactly a documentary, honey. It was a whimsical, imaginative take on their lives. It was more about fun, adventure, and of course, music. The show captured the essence of their spirit. The Jackson 5, they'd be on these crazy escapades, always with a song in their hearts and a groovy dance move up their sleeves. It was pure entertainment. But you know what? It worked. The show was a massive success and became a staple of Saturday morning television. It introduced their music to a whole new generation. It cemented their status as pop culture icons. Kids who watched the show became lifelong fans. It showed the world that the Jackson 5, they weren't just musicians, they were a brand, a force to be reckoned with. Their influence was undeniable. Think about it. How many groups have had their own cartoon show? Not many, right? This was a rare and special achievement, but that's the Jackson 5 for you. They were breaking barriers, defying expectations. They were pioneers in every sense of the word. They weren't just making music, they were making history. Their contributions to the music industry and popular culture are immeasurable. And the cartoon, it reflected their values: family, love, hard work, and of course, the power of music. These were the core principles that guided them. It showed young people, especially young Black children, that anything is possible, that you can achieve your dreams no matter how big they seem. It was a beacon of hope. The Jackson 5, they were more than just a group, they were a symbol of hope, of possibility. They inspired countless individuals to pursue their passions. They showed the world that talent has no color, that music can unite us all. Their legacy transcends racial and cultural boundaries. And that's a legacy that continues to inspire and uplift people to this day. Their music and message remain relevant and powerful. So the next time you hear a Jackson 5 song, remember, it's more than just a catchy tune. It's a piece of history, a cultural milestone. It's a testament to the power of dreams, and a reminder that anything is possible if you dare to believe. The Jackson 5 story is one of triumph and inspiration. You see, the impact of the Jackson 5, it wasn't just about the music, though that was phenomenal in itself. It was about representation, about young Black boys seeing themselves on that stage and daring to dream. Think about New Edition, those young men with voices like angels, bringing back that tight harmony and those synchronized moves. They took that Jackson 5 blueprint and made it their own, inspiring another generation. And then came the boy band explosion of the 90s and 2000s. Groups like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Those groups, with their perfectly coordinated dance moves and catchy pop songs, they owe a debt to the Jackson 5. The Jackson 5, they weren't just singing, they were moving, they were grooving, and they were connecting with audiences in a way that hadn't been seen before, and it paved the way for so many others. What's amazing is that the influence of the Jackson 5, it transcended music. It went beyond just the notes on the page. It was about style, about presence, about a certain charisma that was undeniable. These young men, they were sharp dressers, always coordinated, always putting on a show. They understood that image was a part of their performance, and they used it to captivate audiences. And you can't forget about the hair. Those perfectly sculpted afros became iconic, a symbol of pride and Black beauty. They were trendsetters, no doubt about it. The Jackson 5? They weren't afraid to be themselves, to embrace their culture, and that resonated with people all over the world. They showed the world that Black boys could be talented, stylish, and successful, and that was a powerful message. Family, you know it's everything. And for the Jackson 5, family was at the heart of their story. But like all families, they had their share of challenges. Now Marlon, he was the quiet one, the observer. And when the group first started, he was just a little guy trying to keep up with his older brothers. They weren't sure he was ready for the spotlight. But Marlon, he had this quiet determination. He wanted to be a part of the group, to share the stage with his brothers. And so he practiced tirelessly, perfecting those dance moves, finding his voice. And you know what? He earned his spot. He proved that he deserved to be there, standing shoulder to shoulder with his brothers. Now, family can be complicated, can't it? And for Jermaine, the ties of family were tested when the rest of the group decided to leave Motown Records. See, Jermaine was married to Hazel, Berry Gordy's daughter. Berry Gordy, the head of Motown, the man who had given the Jackson 5 their big break. Can you imagine the pressure? He was torn between his loyalty to his family, to his brothers, and his love for his wife, his commitment to his father-in-law. It was a difficult position to be in, a true crossroads. In the end, Jermaine made the difficult decision to stay with Motown. It was a decision that caused some friction within the family, some hurt feelings, but ultimately, they all loved each other and understood. The music industry, it can be a tough business, especially for Black artists. But the Jackson 5, they faced those challenges head-on and emerged as trailblazers. Think about it. They were the first Black group to achieve such massive crossover pop success, and they did it with their first 4 singles hitting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. That's unheard of. I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, I'll Be There. These songs weren't just hits, they were anthems. They were songs that transcended race, that brought people together. And in doing so, they opened doors for countless other Black artists to follow in their footsteps. They showed the world that Black music was for everyone, that it had the power to move people from all walks of life. Even with all the success, all the fame, the Jackson 5, they never forgot where they came from. They never forgot those early days in Gary, Indiana, practicing in their living room. And in 1989, they came together for a reunion album, a tribute to their roots. They called it 2300 Jackson Street, after their childhood home, the place where it all began. Now, Michael, he was at the height of his solo career, and Marlon, he was pursuing other interests. So, they weren't as involved in the album as the other brothers. But even so, it was a powerful moment, a chance for them to come together as a family, to make music together again, to honor their legacy. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Family, legacy, and the music that binds us together. Time marches on, doesn't it? By the late 1980s, the Jackson 5 had gone their separate ways, each brother forging their own path. But the pull of family, the memories of their shared history, it's a powerful thing. And so, in 1989, they came together again, reuniting for the album 2300 Jackson Street. Now, I know what you might be thinking, a reunion album? What's so special about that? But this wasn't just about the music, this was about family. It was about coming back together after all they'd been through, to that house on Jackson Street where it all began. It was about honoring their roots, their legacy, the unbreakable bond they shared. The album itself was a mixed bag, to be honest. It had its moments, flashes of that old Jackson magic, but it wasn't the same. Michael, already a global superstar, wasn't fully invested, and Marlon opted out altogether. But even so, the symbolism of that reunion, the message of family, it resonated deeply. 2300 Jackson Street wasn't a commercial success, and it didn't reignite the Jackson 5's career as a group. But sometimes, the most important stories aren't about chart positions or awards. They're about something deeper, something more profound. The making of that album, the coming together of those brothers, It was a reminder that family is everything. It was a testament to the enduring power of love, of shared history, of the unbreakable bonds forged in childhood. Yes, there were tensions, there were disagreements, there were old wounds, but through it all, the love shone through. And that, I believe, is what truly matters. 2300 Jackson Street may not be the Jackson 5's most memorable musical moment, but it stands as a poignant reminder of their enduring legacy. A family bound together by music, by history, by love. From the streets of Gary, Indiana to the world stage, the Jackson 5's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. They weren't just musicians, they were pioneers, breaking down barriers, redefining pop music, and inspiring generations to come. Their music brought joy to millions, their story touched countless hearts, and their legacy continues to inspire. And that, my friends, is the power of music, the power of family, the power of a dream. If you enjoyed this look back at the Jackson 5's incredible journey, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more music history deep dives. Until next time, remember, keep believing in the power of your dreams.